You've heard of Pearl Harbor, but did you know an entire American town disappeared overnight and no one talks about it? In this video, you'll see how a thriving U.S. community went from bustling streets to a ghost town in less than 24 hours, and why the government still avoids mentioning what really happened. And before we begin, drop a comment telling me your strangest prediction about why a whole town would vanish. Because what you're about to hear is stranger than all of them. Hidden deep in the American Southwest once stood Prospect Valley, a vibrant small town founded in 1887. Most Americans have never heard of it, not because it was small, but because its disappearance was so sudden, so dramatic, and so embarrassing that newspapers were quietly instructed not to cover it in detail. Prospect Valley wasn't a dusty frontier town. It was modern. It was growing. It had a 200-student school, a mining company, a prosperous Main Street, and a booming population of nearly 4,000 people. Locals described it as the kind of place you raise your kids when you're tired of the big city. But on the night of June 12, 1933, everything changed. In the weeks leading up to the disappearance, locals reported a series of bizarre events: cracks appearing on walls overnight, vibrations with no earthquakes recorded, animals refusing to go near the river, a strange sulfur smell hanging in the air. Residents joked that the town was haunted, but state inspectors assured them everything was fine. Then came the letter. A local shopkeeper named Eleanor Briggs claimed she received an anonymous envelope with only 6 words written inside: "Get out before the night falls." Most people dismissed it until the night of June 12th. At 10:17 p.m., the town electricity flickered, then died completely. Children reported hearing a deep rumbling, like thunder underground. Dogs began howling. Windows rattled. Then the ground itself started to shift. One survivor described it as the entire earth exhaled and then collapsed. Beneath Prospect Valley were abandoned mining tunnels, some dating back to the 1800s. For decades, the town expanded above them, unaware that the network was growing more unstable every year. But here's the thing. Most of the old mining maps were missing, disappeared, erased from state archives. Coincidence? Maybe not. Within minutes, the tunnels began collapsing like dominoes, swallowing foundations, roads, and entire buildings. Residents fled with whatever they could grab. By dawn, 90% of Prospect Valley was gone. But this is where things get strange. Survivors claimed the collapse wasn't the only thing happening that night. Some reported seeing bright blue flashes coming from underground. Others said they heard metal grinding, like machinery moving beneath the earth. And the official government report? Just 2 words: ground failure. No explanation, no details, no accountability. The U.S. Geological Survey arrived within hours, but instead of rescuing belongings or documenting the damage, they blocked off the entire area. Residents were told, "You have 10 minutes to gather essentials, then you must leave." Armed guards surrounded the town for weeks. Reporters were turned away. Survey photos were locked away in federal storage. Even stranger, the land was immediately purchased by a private corporation connected to early energy research despite having no safe use for decades. Why? Locals still insist that the collapse wasn't natural, that something hidden in the mines triggered it. But what happened next shocked everyone. 6 months later, a prospector exploring the sealed-off area discovered something the government never disclosed. A massive underground chamber, perfectly symmetrical, wasn't part of any known mining operation. Inside were smooth walls, metallic residue, and a strange circular platform. Was it an early energy experiment? A mining company secret?
or something else entirely? The prospector tried reporting it, but reporters told him they were warned not to publish stories about Prospect Valley. To this day, the chamber's purpose remains unknown. By 1940, Prospect Valley was removed from most U.S. state atlases. Signs pointing to the town were taken down. The roads leading there fell into disrepair. It was as if the town never existed. Families who once lived there received small settlements in exchange for remaining silent about the cause of the collapse. High schools no longer taught the town's history. Museums rarely mentioned it. Prospect Valley became a whisper, a rumor, a forgotten American tragedy brushed quietly under the rug. In 2019, hikers exploring the restricted area found something chilling buried near the old school grounds. A rusted metal box filled with school attendance lists, family photos, and a diary from a 14-year-old girl. One diary entry stood out. "Mom says we need to leave soon. The men in suits keep visiting. Dad says the ground is sick." Another diary entry, dated June 11, 1933, the night before the collapse, read, "They told Dad to be ready tomorrow night. Why tomorrow? What do they know?" This suggests that certain officials might have known the collapse was imminent, raising even more questions. Today, you can still see the outline of the old town from aerial footage. Sunken blocks, collapsed roads, twisted beams. But the real mystery isn't the collapse, it's the secrecy. Why were mining maps removed? Why did federal agents arrive so quickly? What was in that symmetrical underground chamber? And why was an entire American town erased from memory? Some believe it was a failed energy experiment, a government project gone wrong, or even a man-made triggered collapse. No matter what the theory, one thing is certain: Prospect Valley didn't die naturally. It was pushed. This was just one forgotten American disaster, one story buried beneath decades of silence. If you love forgotten American history, you'll love what's coming next week. Want to hear about the next hidden American tragedy? One so shocking that even historians avoid mentioning it? Subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned. A new mystery drops next week, and trust me, you've never heard this one before.